Hey, DJ, come on. Hey, DJ. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. Come on, party. Oh, come on, Pet. Oh, yeah. Come on. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Go, 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 go. Hey, DJ. Oh, yeah. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah.
STP. Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL, running slightly late but actually more on time than I was before because I got home from my doctor's appointment and seeing my dad for a bit 1 minute before I was supposed to go live. So this is a little bit last minute for me today, but hopefully it's all good. We're going to have pSi versus Wico. I feel too tired to do 2 series, so I'm going to do 1 more on Friday, but that just means we've got more days of streaming, so it doesn't really help. But we've had a busy week at work and I just want to relax, and I've been out all day since work finished, so I'm just even more tired than I normally am. But either way, we do have a good series coming up, pSi versus Wico. pSi, of course, not one of the strongest teams in the SCPL, but they've shown a lot of heart and they're actually doing pretty well this season in terms of their games. Series-wise, they're still losing quite a bit, but they've definitely led some really good series this season, which is awesome. They came back, they were missing in Season 4, and they're back in Season 5, which is really cool to have them back. Wico struggling a bit this season, lost both of their series so far. Admittedly, one of them was to a walkover to IRK, but that's due to a time mismanagement issue. That's partly my fault, partly their fault, but either way, we've got a TVZ starting us off, a ZVP, a PVZ, and then a TVP. So we've actually got one of each of the mirror, or one of each of the non-mirrors, which I'm very happy about. Sorry, I'm just quickly opening up my McDonald's hot chocolate that I ordered on the that we got in the drive-thru on the way home. I also just quickly scoffed down some like medium fries, which was alright. But we got some good matchups coming. Let's introduce the first one of them. Starting us off is going to be pSi Storm's SCVForce. SCVForce is new to pSi Storm this season, and realistically, he's actually doing a pretty damn good job for them. He's won 2 of his games, lost his previous one, but he was against Eonzerg in his last game, which is nothing to be scoffed at. Now, I'm hoping, as it's a TVZ, we're going to have a pretty good match here between Mutelli and SCVForce. So let's introduce his opponent. Mutelli has played a little bit more in the STPL than SCVForce has. Over 8 games, they've got a 75% win rate, which is very, very impressive. But they've lost against some fairly surprising people, like their loss against Cryok on Neo Moonglaive back in the previous season. I'm not sure how this is going to look as we get into the game, but we will be going on to Judgment Day. Judgment Day, one of my favorite maps of this season, fully flat. I really like games on this map. I'm just gonna let the map like speak for itself. I'm just gonna load up the replay. Usually I'd have all this done already, but you know what it is when I'm running late, everything just goes up the wall. But the good thing is, I went to the doctor about the thing I mentioned before. It's nothing to worry about, and I've got like some special like shampoo that I apparently put over the area, and then it will clean up whatever the problem is, which is kind of cool. It's really nice to know that it's nothing to worry about. I freaking hate going to the doctor for that reason. But basically, we're all looking good. Let's get in to game number 1. Let's get started with today's STPL. Do we get the Terra music? No, we do not. That sucks. But oh well, starting us off here in the top left-hand position in the yellow, fighting for Wico, is mitak. And their opponent spawning us up here in the top right-hand corner in the white, fighting for pSi, is SCVForce. Okay, so I wonder what build we're going to see from mitak. It's been a while since we've kind of seen a huge variety of TVZs in the STPL. We've seen a few recently, but not too many. We haven't really seen too many we haven't really seen too many, TVZs in the pro level either recently. And yeah, Mindflayer just posted a link to the BBC news article about the massive Twitch data breach. If you haven't already, please update your password and turn on two-factor authentication on your account if you haven't already got it. If there is an account somewhere where you can use a mobile app for two-factor authentication, it doesn't matter where the account is, it doesn't matter how important the account is to you, please set up two-factor authentication. It is so unbelievably important. And it means if there is a data breach, even if they get your password, they can't get into your account. I've got two-factor authentication on. I've still changed my password anyway. But I would advise anyone who may be watching this, or if you're watching the VOD, because I know this is going to be early in the VOD, so there might be people actually watching, then please do reset your password as soon as possible. They also released the like income values of the top streamers. And it really does show that unless you're in like the top 0.005% or something, you are never going to be able to make any form of a living from Twitch. I mean, I think everyone knew that anyway. But I don't think the numbers are really that much of a surprise. The big streamers are making a ridiculous amount of money, but I'm sure everyone, and that's without donations as well, and I'm sure everyone knew that. Now, we've actually got a 2-Rax play coming in from SCVForce, so he is going for 1 base play. Now, is he going to go on 26 supply for an academy? Oh, sorry, hold on. Is it 20 supply you go for the academy, and then 26 you go for the third Rax? Are we going to see a Sparks Terran play from SCVForce? Very rare at this stage of Brood War to ever see that build, but it's a build that Tai2 tried to teach me. We're going to have it against 2 Hatchery Muteless play as well. So this is definitely going to be looking to be one of the weirder games. Now, this is one of those games I've mentioned before, where when you have both players playing aggressively... Oh my god, it's a factory opening. Okay, I completely missed... I thought that was a barracks. I'm completely blind. But yeah, it's a factory opening, so factory openings aren't usually that good against 2-hatch, because 2-hatch muters are just better than Goliaths. And especially if you're doing off of 1 base. I mean, this is a factory into an expansion at the very least. But this expansion is very late, so it's going to be very unlikely the SCVForce is going to be able to hold on to this. We're probably going to need to see SCVForce lift his command center and go back to his one base, but that means he is going to be very far behind, so I don't think this is going to work out very well. There's a reason why historically 2-hatch Muto was the build that everyone did against Fantasy, because in the first few years of Fantasy's career, all he ever did was mech, and yeah, 2-hatch Muto is just kind of beat mech now. This is good vulture movement, but this is a lot of lings. This is like a ling all-in level of lings right now. One of the vultures gets caught off guard. It's so hard to actually micro this, and he's going to get his vulture trapped if he's not careful. Speed is actually going to make it harder, but speed for the lings is already done. He needs to keep this vulture alive or he will die. And he's doing an okay job, but he's going to need more than one vulture. This is such a it's such an important dance. Like, this is going to be lings into a 2-hatch Muto play as well. The lair is on the way, the vulture's about to die. What does he actually have back home defending? He has a single marine, or 2 marines and a single vulture. There's no mines. There was a second vulture, but I think it went down to the lings at the top of the map. Now, we are going to see a bunker come up. We've got SCVs pulled. The vulture is going to get stuck on the SCVs though, so it's going to go down. He's going to lose another vulture. The SCV is not going to finish the bunker, but there's no marines anyway. And now SCVForce is in a ton of trouble here. He's forgotten to finish the... He's cancelled the bunker. Okay, but there's more lings. I would have finished the bunker there just to be safe. He does have his expansion, but he's got it lifted. Mutali doesn't really care about this. The marine goes down. And guess what? The armory is not yet finished. The spire is done. And Mutalisks are about to fly over to this side of the map and end the game. There is nothing that our Terran hero can do about this. He does not have his engineering bay finished either. He is going to die to the Mutalisks. And this is going to be a very anticlimactic win in game number 1. God damn, hot chocolate tastes so good. Now, if these vultures had speed and they could run past everything, it would be fine. He's delaying the Mutalisks a little bit. Armory is still not done. Engineering bay is still not done. The only ability that we are going to see SCVForce be able to do here is type his 2Gs and leave the game. Because this number of Mutalisks can cancel an infinite number of turrets. It doesn't matter how often you try and build them, they are never going to finish. A single marine is going to come out, but there's no bunker to get in. And, I mean, this is game over. Is this going to be a 6-minute curse, or is he going to stay in a little bit longer? The first 2 Goliaths have come out, but Goliaths do a pitiful amount of damage to Mutalisks. It really isn't even fair. If he was maybe repairing all his Goliaths with all of his SCVs, he might be able to hold. But there's just too much. He's got a turret that's going to go down. The Mutalisks are going to end the game. It is a matter of time here. Another 2 Goliaths will eventually pop out, but he was actually... One of them, I guess he forgot to build it or something. I don't know, but he's running the Goliath back. The Goliath dies anyway. He is mining it as natural, but there is lings on the way to help finish up. And I mean, this turret is doing a decent amount of damage, but like Mutali knows he's won the game. Mutali is probably wondering why SCVForce hasn't left. GG, 7 minutes 38, SCVForce taps out. That's going to be it for game number 1. We'll be back in a moment with game number 2. And I've just realized this for a break video won't work. Okay guys, welcome back. We're heading into game number 2, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position in the pink, fighting for pSi. It's mitak. And his opponent spawning down here in the 6 o'clock location, starting in the green for Wico. It's last. And just to make things incredibly confusing, it's not the pro gamer last. And it's also a different race to the last that everyone knows plays, so... Last has actually played a decent amount in the STPL, so hopefully, if you guys have been following the STPL for a while, you'll know who this is. But this should start off as a relatively standard game on blindside, I would say. I swear, in this large, like, hot chocolate I got from McDonald's, there was, like, barely any hot chocolate in it. Oh well, still tastes good. Gate first opening from last. mitak going for the overpull here. Pretty much the most standard builds in modern PvZ, I would say, at the current time. The amazing thing is, based on those Twitch leaks, the top streaming channel earns 9 million from Twitch over 2 years. That is insane. And that's without donations. I mean, realistically, I've got nothing against that. They make the money. But I can't help but think that I'm incredibly jealous. Like, I work a 9-to-5 job, I earn not even 1,000th of that, and it's like, wow, I kind of feel a bit shit now. Like, they're doing something they enjoy and they get paid a ton of money to do it, and I'm jealous as hell. Okay, interestingly, no forge yet. Last is going for a nexus or a nexus before the forge, which is kind of standard. But the wall is not finished, and there are a lot of lings coming here from mitak, so if mitak gets in fast enough, mitak could actually do some damage here. Now, weirdly enough, Last went for a gate first, but didn't use it aggressively. He's using it defensively. Now, mitak knows that the forge is coming in, but mitak, rather than playing aggressive, knows that 3 zealots are probably going to be too much to deal with, so is coming back to deal with the probe. Now, what is mitak hiding? mitak is doing something that I've not seen in a while, and I actually got in a discussion with someone on the FPW Discord about. You barely ever see anyone wall in with a third hatchery anymore, because most of the time the game always ends up with the Protoss being really defensive early on, so you can just take a third base for free, right? But mitak has got something planned here, because he is walling in. He does know his opponent went gate first. It's going to be a lair, but off of just 2 bases, it's crazy. Mind Flayer, that's like A, incredibly misogynistic, and also B, completely untrue. Given most of the top streamers on Twitch are men, that's not true at all. Admittedly, if you are good looking of either gender or of any gender, like, you are going to have an easier time in some things, not everything. And in some ways it can be, well, in very few ways can it be a minus, but I don't know. Like, you even look at the, like, I shouldn't bring this up, and it's none of my business, but when you look at like the StarCraft 2 streamers and what they make, like when you look at the amount of money that Artosis makes, you can finally understand how he can actually finance his family, because he makes a ton of money, and he does deserve it because he works hard, and I can't help but say I'm jealous, as I did mention before, but like it's crazy. But rather than go into that, I should probably just talk about the actual game rather than go off topic again. But looks like a probe is going to see the Hydra Den at the front, going to see the Forge. The hatchery is actually 1 hex too far over, so it's not even walling off properly. But we've got Overlord speed coming in, layer is done. Are we going to see an Overlord drop build here, I wonder, because there's no Spire just yet. So other than Overlord speed, was there realistically a good reason to go for land? I wonder. Why did he go for Overlord speed, I wonder? I mean, I guess you need it against Corsairs, but it's okay, it's double Stargate, so it's going to work out. But Last is playing this really weird. You don't often see double Stargate after Citadel. This is going to be a Zealot timing attack. +1 is about to finish. A lot of Zealots heading up the map, but they're going to have to turn around. There's a lot of Hydras who come out to meet them in the middle of the map. Double Stargate though. Last is betting on this being a muta play. And it isn't. Now Hydras in good enough numbers might be able to take down this small army. Now a lot of the Overlords are coming at the front. He knows he has to defend his Overlords. Lurker upgrade is coming in already. mitak is getting ready to set up a massive Lurker contain here. Now, all the Zealots are coming in from behind. The Hydras have nowhere to run back to, but they get back through the Dragoon. They are going to be able to micro back here, but he's not attacking with the furthest away Hydras, so the Hydras get pushed all the way back, and this is going to save him from being Lurker contained. There's also a load of Overlords just sat in the middle of the map. The double Stargate has produced the first couple of Corsairs. So he is going to have to move those back with his army, but he really should be fighting with his army right now. Mind Flayer, that's just completely dumb. Like, I'm sorry, but that isn't true at all. Like, if you want to spread those kind of views, feel free to do it in other channels, but just don't, like, I don't care if you think like that. But that is an incredibly uneducated opinion, which is just completely not true. Like, if you want to believe that, fine, just don't bring it up here. Okay, Lurkers come in, that's going to force the Zealots to go back. But it's not the end of the road here for mitak at all. Last is continuing to push forward, +1 is done, speed is done. There are still Corsairs patrolling the map, there's only 2 of them though, which kind of makes the double Stargate incredibly pointless, so this is a big waste of gas. Usually what you would see... Oh my god, no. Oh no, he's going to get all of his units in his Overlords, and all of a sudden Corsairs are going to fly in. Oh my goodness, no. He can't. No, he has to drop the Hydras. Like, this is not going to work. He's going to lose all of his Lurkers. Oh my god, imagine if there was 4 or 6 Corsairs right now. Drop the Hydras! You need to drop all of the units right now. You cannot afford to lose any of these mitak. This is such an important moment. It's better to run the Hydralisks along the floor. He's going to fly the Overlords over the right-hand side of the map, over the Overlords. And the Corsairs are just going to come back here. Zealots in the main base already. Ton of them spread out absolutely everywhere. It's like we're looking at like an AI base in like a RTS campaign right now. He's got his units just like dotted around all over the place. The Corsairs are going to come in here and kill the Overlords before they can get in. The Overlords are so badly damaged from before. He's got the damaged Overlord at the back though. which is good, but I think it's going to go down here. 7-3. Oh, he gets both the lurkers out of it before it dies. But is this too much? There's so many zealots back at home, but I mean, there's not enough units have dropped out. There's only like one lurker that came out of all of those overlords. And this is not good. Like, this drop is going to do absolutely nothing. And a storm on the only lurker there. The Hydra's going to kill the... Wait, what? Oh, it's because the lurker's still alive. Looks like he wanted to go in at the front as well. There's not that many Hydras, but he can actually break through. He just needs to bring all of his Hydras together. This is still not over. The DTs are going to soak up a decent amount of damage, do a decent amount of damage as well. But the cannons getting taken down. Can he kill the High Templar before they can storm? He's still got units in the main. There's not many of them. But this... Okay, the Lurker is going to go down. 2 more Lurker eggs are probably going to die here as well. The Lurkers finish. If he can burrow. If he can burrow, he can maybe save them both. But no, it looks like one of them is going to go down. The second one should go down as well. And that should be the end of the attack here. But the Hydra contain, the Lurker contain is still going on at the front. But with this many Zealots, he should be able to break through. There's no upgrades here on the Zerg forces. +1 attack has only just... Wait, has he just finished it? No, he's only just started it. Okay. Another drop coming into the main. This is a very good move. There's actually not much that we have from last in the main base to hold on here, but this is going to be a lot of Zealots. And this is not many units. The Hydra's in the storm, not being able to dodge another Hydra storm. Oh my goodness, this attack is being absolutely demolished. The Overlords are going down. The supply difference is still the same as it was a while ago. The Lurkers are alive. It looks like the Lurker wants to go towards the mineral line, but could that be the end of the Lurker's life? No, it looks like it will get a few kills. And he is morphing a Lurker in the middle of the base, which is kind of impressive. Looks like the Overlord's going to bring in some more Hydras. Could this be a win for mitak here? Realistically, the Lurker should be trying to focus the probes. And it looks like he is starting to do that now, but Last is still in a good position. He's still got his supply lead. More and more units coming out of the gateway. Look at the storm on the Hydra, so good. But it looks like the Hydra is still going to be able to get away, but no, another brilliant storm. All of the units going down in the main. And mitak, I think, could be on his last lap, like his last legs. I don't know why I said last lap as if he was in a race, but a last lap would mean he would be winning in a race term, but I think mitak may have lost this game now. Last has stayed too strong. He's kept his base alive. He hasn't really lost anything of value. And he even saved the observatory. mitak taps out. GG. Last wins game number 2.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick. Kick, 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 kick. Punch. Punch, 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 punch. Jump. Cha, 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 cha. Block. Once more now. Kick. Kick, 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 kick. Punch. Punch, 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 punch. Jump. Cha, 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 cha. Block. Don't get cocky, it's gonna get rocky. We're gonna move down to the next jockey. Now duck. Jump. Tongue. Pause. Listen carefully. Jump. Pause. Duck. Tongue. Yeah, I see you're getting better. Kick to the limit in order to get a now kick, punch. Kick, 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 punch. Chop, block. Chop, 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 kick. Chop, 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 kick, 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 kick. Punch, block. Punch, 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 punch. Gonna get harder now, duck and jump. Turn and pose. Duck and turn. Jump and pose. Come on now, why don't you follow my words, because we're almost done. I'll make it easier first. I wanna see if you wanna see what it means to be the man with a master plan. Are you the man now? Here we
Okay guys, welcome back to game number 3, starting us off in the right hand corner for Wico in the yellow. It's 973. And his opponent spawning down in the bottom left hand corner in the white, fighting for pSi. It's their captain. It's Grast. Now let's have a look at the opening builds. Is Grast going to go for a Forge Fast Expand? Looks like he is, given he is scouting with his first probe rather than going back to mine a few more minerals. That's kind of the more standard way of doing it these days. My fatigue is starting to kick in as well, so I'm glad I've chosen only to do one series today. We'll do Naz versus IRK versus Ash on Friday. Okay, looks like we do have that forge coming in, using the guidelines on the map to wall in as well, which is always good. Thank you for the host. Well, I didn't even notice you hosted me. That didn't actually pop up for whatever reason, so cheers man. Hopefully your stream went okay. Sorry if anyone joined us. We're currently watching pSi versus Wico. Wico are currently 2-0 up. Wico runners up from the previous season, so they are one of the stronger teams in the tournament. But so far this season, they've not been doing as well. pSi have actually been doing a little bit better than they were before as well, so we've had a good sort of go there. And we do have a 12 hatch into a pool for 973. Getting ready to play a relatively standard game now. With no gate first from Grast, there's not really going to be any early aggression that can deal with this. So Grast is going to have to go for a gate behind this. No, he's actually getting a safety cannon. I don't really agree with this. I think given the fact he did scout, he really should be going for a gate first. I think cannon here is maybe a little bit overly defensive. But I suppose at the end of it all, if you know you're not going to be able to do any early damage, maybe it's better just to be safe. He gets the gateway anyway, and he just kind of guarantees that he's not going to get screwed over by anything that he's not expecting. Although he did get that scout, so maybe a little bit confusing, but... Yeah, Jumper saying in chat that he could have gotten gateway gas then cannon, so... Yeah, he definitely kind of built his buildings in a weird order, but... I suppose he just wanted to be safe. I don't know if, I didn't quite check if he'd gone into the main yet or not. Maybe he got a little bit caught up with the hatchery, but he should have known from the hatchery timing. But either way, nothing too much to write home about so far. A little bit of an advantage of a 973 that Grast probably could have given away without giving him, but it's not the end of the world. First probe is going to get taken down fairly soon here, I would say. It's kind of difficult to keep your probe alive unless you're Bisu, or you're like someone like DeWalt, who's incredibly good. Back at home, we should have the core coming in. Yes, we do. So core getting ready to come in. Lair coming in already. Now, Grast does see the lair, so he knows that's coming. Now, he does not know about the third hatchery. The third hatchery location is kind of the more historical way of expanding. More recently, I mean, on this map, there's not really a close third gash you can take, which doesn't kind of lock you back behind in your base, which is why I think he's gone for the other natural. But when Savior was kind of like the top of Zerg, the main way that everyone would play, now Grast does know about this, he sent a Zealot down here, but the way everyone would play is essentially they would take another natural and it would guarantee you get a 4th base. But that's because back then everyone played a very turtley style of Zerg, where you would just wall up at both bases, build a ton of Sunkens, and the Protoss wouldn't be able to attack into you. Now, Zerg have learned to be a lot more aggressive. Now, Grast does see the 3rd hatchery, he sees the creep at the very least, so he's going to pull back from there, not losing his Zealot, which is a good move to make. Now, second cannon. Sorry about that. Second cannon is up as well, so he's just being a little bit safe, just to ensure he doesn't die. He's going to see another drone transferring down to the bottom left. 2 additional drones, so he knows the opponent has been droning up just a little bit. Zealot goes down, doesn't see the Spire, but should know there's a Spire on the way, just based on everything he's scouted so far. First Corsair on the way, no +1 air attack. Recently in the STPL at the very least, I haven't seen many people go +1 air attack. I don't know if this is kind of a modern change in the meta that I've just missed, but I feel like last year when I was watching STPL, like every Protoss went +1 air attack automatically in every game. Now, 3rd cannon coming in, maybe a little bit over safe, but this is a map that if you can defend your natural choke, you do get 4 bases, so it's not too bad to be overly defensive here. Fourth base coming up immediately here for 973. He's got his 6th hatchery. Starting a wall up here, or probably build a evolution chamber here or something to help wall that in. That's exactly what that drone's going to go build now. Oh, Hydralisk Den. He doesn't have his Hydra Den yet. Okay. Evolution chamber here. Fair enough. This is actually kind of a weird decision because your 3rd base is more likely to be broken than your main. And if you lose your Hydra Den, it kind of puts your tech in a weird position. But you'll notice that 973 is starting to add Sunkens. He doesn't have that many units. He does have a Spire, but no Mutalisks, and he has no Hydra Den. So you build a lot of Sunkens to try and defend against any kind of early Zealot timing attacks, which could be coming around +1. Zealot leg speed and +1 finish around the same time. Grast does have a decent number of gateways now, so he should be able to pump out a good number of Zealots if he wants to. But it looks like both players are kind of looking to play very defensive, which means we could be in for quite a long game here. The first Mutalisk is starting to pop out, which means the safety cannon's kind of not looking so stupid now. Well, not stupid, but not looking too foolish. I mean, I guess the one thing Grast has going for him is a lot of people in the foreign scene know Wico as the players who like cheese a lot on ladder. So maybe he's expecting them to be very aggressive, which is why he's going for this. 973 has actually played a decent number of games in the STPL, but he's only played 1 PvZ as well. That was against Tech on Paradise in Season 4, so there's not really too much data, at least STPL wise, that Grast would have been able to go for, so not really sure how we take that. Five Corsairs already, so Grast is definitely getting +1 in the end, so he is going for those Corsair upgrades. You'll see that he's not being aggressive with the Corsairs at all. He is playing entirely defensive to make sure he doesn't lose them. And now there is actually quite a good number of units out on the middle, out in 973's bases, which could kill the Corsairs if he's not careful. Second evolution chamber is up, +1 carapace to begin with, rather than +1 ranged attack, so it could be that we're going into a quick hive and ultralisks here, although carapace is just a good upgrade to get anyway. Corsairs coming in, the Scourge come over here to try and deal with them. I don't think +1 attack is done. It's not done just yet, so going to be quite difficult to get that in. But you can really see how close by air this base and this base are specifically. Like, carriers can actually be pretty good on this map because it's very easy to kind of bounce in and bounce back out again. But a lot of Mulists, a lot more Scourge though. If these Scourge stack up, the Corsairs could have an absolute field day, killing all of them. The probe gets taken down before I can build a third base. And it looks like the Corsairs being a little bit cautious. It is quite difficult to attack into this. Given there are so many Scourge, it looks like the Corsairs are kind of a little bit scared to engage, which means the Mutalists are able to get a little bit of free damage in, but not going to be too much. The fourth base is up and mining. Only 3 gases mining though so far for 973. Hive will not yet have started. He's going for Overlord speed. No Queen's Nest either. So we are looking at 973 getting ready to build a big Mutalisk Hydra army. Very, very standard. Now, I would love to see a Queen's Nest and an Infest, but I don't think we're going to see that this game, unfortunately. Although there is like kind of not really a bounty, but it's kind of like a pride bounty. If someone can actually do it, then I will be very happy. Infested Terrans in TvP are broken as hell as well. They're so good. Like, Protoss have no realistic way of dealing with them. It's really funny. Now the Corsairs coming out. They do have +1/+2. Attack is not on the way. It's range for the Dragoons. Oh, this is good. He gets a couple of the Scourge, picks them off. Oh my goodness. Loses a Corsair immediately. Gets a nice load of shield battery healing on top of the remaining Corsairs, but this many Scourge, you either need like 12 Corsairs to deal with, or you need like +2 attack, and he has neither of those, so it's going to be quite difficult. Grast is doing okay though. He's holding his own. The third base is not coming up just yet, but he should be able to build it. He's building a few cannons to make sure it doesn't die to the Mutalist first. Yeah, he's got 5 stairs, so he only lost 1 to the Scourge, which isn't too bad. The real problem is going to be this Hydra army that is amassing. It's only got Carapace as upgrades, but +2 Carapace +1 attack is coming in. And he doesn't have that much Storm. He's only got 2 High Templar right now, and that is not enough to deal with this many Hydras. And oh no, the Mutalists are coming in. They're going to be able to clean up absolutely everything. Storm going down, but doesn't get all of the Scourge. So one of the High Templar goes down. One of the Corsairs goes down, but he does clean up everything. But with the number of Hydras that he is against, Grast would be foolish to leave his base right now. He cannot afford to be in the middle of the map. This is going to be such a huge amount of Hydras coming from all around him. This is going to go one way here if he's out in the middle of the map, and it's not going to go well. There is going to be a lot of dead Protoss units here, and unless he can pull back or have the Miracle Storms, one of the High Templar getting sniped even, I think this could very well be game over. But these are some very nice Storms, wow. Using his final Storm here, but there's not much left to defend. The Zealots pushing forward, but this is so many Hydras. They do have 1/1 upgrade still. The Archon going down. There is another High Templar here, but it's got no Storm Energy. Why is it running forward? Why does that keep happening? This is not good. Another Storm comes in though. Grast is doing a pretty good job, and look at the number of Hydras that are coming in. This is 4 hatcheries, 4 bases even, worth of production. It doesn't matter what Storms you have. You cannot hold this amount of Hydras with no units. GG. Grast taps out, and 973 takes game number 3. It will be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 4. Hey guys, welcome back. Spawning us up here in the top right hand corner in the teal, fighting for Wico. It's Digda. Ow. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting for pSi in the black. It's Kiko. Now, I wonder how this is going to go. Kiko, unfortunately for him, his team have lost the series. But he has a chance to get a win on the board here before it is too late. Okay, we've got a gateway coming up for Digda. Nice standard opening gate core, no buildings in the middle of the map. Wico gonna be creating a bit of SimCity with his barracks and depot here as well. Not really too much going on at the start of the game. Not really too many people talking in chat today either. So it's even difficult for me to talk about anything anyone's talking about just while we're waiting. I'm sitting here wondering what the plan is. Now, STPL isn't one of the, usually the silent. It's usually got like Lucky Noob and like people spamming, but none of those people are here today, so we got a nice quiet stream chat, you know? It's peaceful, but it can be kind of lonely when you're streaming and you're commentating on your own and no one's saying anything. I think I put Mind Flayer off because I said what he said was wrong, and then he hasn't said anything since. But there we go. I mean, what he said I felt was wrong, and it is wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I just told him to not talk about that stuff. Like, I don't mind him talking in my chat, which is why I didn't ban him. I just deleted his message. But like, the thing is, if people want to think like that, then they should educate themselves more. And maybe not spread their views online. I don't know. But that's me going into something that I probably shouldn't be talking about in a stream. Now we've actually got a 2-fact coming in from Kiko. Now, 2-fact is kind of one of the rarer builds these days in TvP because it very rarely actually works. 2-fact, if you can get it to work, can be one of the strongest builds in the game. But it genuinely isn't that good anymore. Like, it used to be the main build in TvP, and then Protoss just learned how to deal with it. Even if you go like a 12 next, you can defend a 2-fact. It's kind of not fair. But there we go. That's why you look at Flash and he always does Marine Vulture all in when he comes across a 12 next or whatever, because it's the only thing that can kill it. Now this is a later Nexus. I think this was on 23 supply. So it's not the most vulnerable Nexus anyway. There's going to be 2 gates by the time he pushes forward. Second gate is already coming out. Now, is he going to push on 3? Now, I like this. But he can't actually... He needs to save the bunker. If the bunker dies, then there is absolutely no point in this. He needs to save the bunker. The whole purpose is you can't let your opponent scout the fact you're going for 2-fact. The fact he didn't repair the bunker means Digda already knows he's getting 2-facted, so he is going back home, and he is going to prepare for an all-in, I think. And SCV gets in, So he does see the Nexus, which is good. He doesn't see anything else, but the Robo is done already. Support Bay should come up very quickly after this if he wants to hold the 2-fact with ease. It looks like it is going to be 3 tanks into a push. Only 4 Marines though. We're going to see double Vulture upgrades and then double Vulture coming out at a time. And he should push with some SCVs as well. Now, he doesn't know, but all of the Dragoons are already back at home, so this is actually a bonus. Usually you would be fighting the whole way back with the Dragoons stepping back, doing damage to your Marines the whole time. But Kiko is actually going to get a free ride across to his opponent's main base. Now that is not something that normally happens. Digda wants to scout, but Kiko actually went around rather than going the fastest route, which means Digda is not going to see anything. Now he will see there is no factory. Sorry, there's no... oh wait, no he won't. The Vulture should get it. He has to kill this. I guess it doesn't really matter now. But it looks like we are going to get ready to push forward. We should see some bunkers be laid and push forward with those. I wonder if that's what he's going to do. Do we have a support May? No support May. So this is going to come down entirely to Micro. There is an observer already. But he needs to keep his... he needs his Marines alive. Now you can actually wall in this in, well, you can wall this in with a depot. I wonder if that's what he's going to do. Looks like the tanks at the back going to be pushing forward. The Vulture... Okay, this is a little bit unfortunate. He is going to lose his mines. His tank, his first one is sieging up, which is going to add a strong thing to this build. There is going to be a shuttle, which means he can pick up and drop on top of the... Oh no. He has to kill this mine. He has to kill the mine. This mine is going to do so much damage. And there we go. That mine is going to clear up that tank. The Dragoon does go down as well. But there's no Marines in this bunker, which unfortunately his opponent doesn't... Well, his opponent probably does know, given it's not firing. But this will create a little bit of a wall. It's just a shame he's got no Marines down there. Now, tanks and Vultures are being used to reinforce this. The Nexus is down. But this should be relatively easy for him to clean up. The support bay is done as well. The first Reaver is on the way. And this is where as Kiko, you turn around and you go home. You're not going to be able to kill the Protoss from this position. You have to go home, you have to macro up, you have to get your expansion, and you have to prepare for the next stages of the game, because if they've got a shuttle, the likelihood is they've got a support bay, and when they have a support bay, that is it. You are not going to be able to do any more damage with a 2-fact. He's done the damage he needs to do, so this is why you turn around and go home, because all that can kill him now is if a Reaver flies into his main base and just kills everything he has, which is very highly likely. The first Reaver is going to come down here on its own. There's going to be nothing to scout. I say this and there's a mine. Perfect mine placement by Kiko there. He knows the Reaver is coming. The turrets are coming up, but there's going to be nothing to stop it from coming in the base. But we have good tank spread. We have good mine spread as well. And Kiko is perfectly prepared. You love to see it. Look at this. It's even in a perfect position where he can't drop here to kill it. I love it. Now the Reaver's going to come in here. He can't drop there, but he's going to drop the... Oh, he's going to lose it? No, he's not. But that is very close. At the front, he's not even attempting to break out just yet because he doesn't really have the units to. He's 4 gates on 1 base. Digda is in a very bad position unless he can make something happen with this Reaver. But then Kiko still hasn't expanded, and that's going to be his undoing possibly as well. Because even though the Protoss is just on 4 gates on 1 base, you need the expansion yourself, because otherwise you're just 1-basing against 1 base, and guess what? He has more gateways than you have factories, so he should be able to come over and kill you eventually. Now, weirdly enough, he's building more depots here. He should really build like a barracks or something here to wall this off even more. Or even something here to stop the Dragoons sort of running around the top. Like, here would be a good place for a barracks or an eBay. He's building another depot. Just making it very difficult for his opponent to break out. There is, of course, a shuttle. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to get elevated, isn't he? This reminds me of the ASL. This is so funny. Oh, the mine. Okay, he knows he's elevating now. He must have seen that on the minimap. And yeah, he's going to move the Vultures, but there's not really much he can do about it, right? He's not got the units to actually fight these. Now, if he sieges these tanks here, they'll get sniped. So he's going to continue the push. He's going to continue to try and hold on. Vultures run into the main base. He could get a load of probes here, but he needs to focus the probes. Like, the probes are what he needs to kill. If he kills enough probes, then he wins the game, but unfortunately he doesn't get enough. Okay, the Dragoon's trying to come in from both angles. This is going to be how he tries to break, and with all the Vultures dying, breaking has suddenly become a lot easier. Now build another building. Stop the Zealots from being able to run over to your tanks, and you are going to be in a good spot. But he has to build another building. He builds another turret, which isn't too bad, but it's not going to finish in time. He needed a building here, I think. The double shuttle coming in. This should break out. Dragoon at the front going down. The 4 tanks are going to go down to the mines and the Zealots. And that's a successful break. And now what is the position in the game? Wico has just lost a ton of supply. After he killed the Nexus, he achieved nothing. And he doesn't have an expansion. His command center is only just starting. So now the game is even again. They're going to expand around the same time. Digda has a bigger supply. He has a better army composition at the moment because Wico just lost 4 tanks. And I would give the lead to Digda right now, but Wico is still not out. Now, he should really be unsieging these tanks, like right now. Because all that's going to happen is they're going to be dropped on. We've got a Wraith coming out after a dropship. A dropship here is a very good choice. In case you don't realize, on Tau Cross you do have this droppable cliff above the Protoss Natural. Of course the same is said for the Terran, but Protoss don't really have anything bar storm drops that can really sit up there and do much damage. It really is all about tank drops. Now, a tank drop isn't going to do too much because of the fact there is 2 shuttles already which can just filter Dragoons over. But if he can drop enough tanks, that could be incredibly difficult to deal with. This is definitely going to be a very aggressive and strange game. Now, I do bring this up quite a lot, but when both players open quite aggressively, or one player opens aggressively, does a little bit of damage but doesn't kill their opponent, it can lead to some of the weirdest and longest games. It always happens. Now, one good thing for Wico is he's done a pretty good job of keeping a view on all of the other bases, so he's going to know when Digda expands. I don't think he's going to be able to see this one, but he should know that the 3rd base should be coming soon. But Terran isn't really in a position to be able to like do this. Like, Terran can't triple expand right now, or double expand. Wico doesn't actually have that much either. General Stand 2 says that maybe Digda can bust. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think Digda is going to do that just because it's a little bit risky. Even though there's only 5 tanks here, attacking into 5 tanks can be very hard, and if you get unlucky, you just lose everything. So he's not going to do that. There is, of course, more tanks in the main, which will help defend as well, but I think he's going to be going for mass drops on that cliff, and that would not be a bad choice. Ah, okay. That was a few minutes ago. I completely didn't see the timestamp. Yeah, there's definitely enough tanks now. Makes sense. Now, the one problem with the style that Wico is going for, he went for an early starport after going for the 2-fact, but because of everything that went on, his upgrades are very late. 2-1 upgrades should be finishing normally around 16 minutes, or maybe a little bit sooner. I can't remember the exact timing, but you'll notice it's going to be around 16 minutes before he even gets +1. So later, as we go later into the game, Kiko's army is going to be significantly less powerful, which means the sort of pushing power of Digda is going to be much, much higher, and it means that Wico is just going to be a lot weaker overall. So that's something to look out for if we get into a longer game here. Now, nice usage of the mines, but unfortunately he's got no units to defend the mines, so they're just going to be cleaned up immediately. Double dropship coming over, 4 Goliaths and 2 tanks. That's going to help deal with any Zealots that could be dropped off on top of them, which is good. But we have a Reaver in the main. The Reaver is alive. More damage is being done. There's so many zealots coming in with this as well. The shuttles go down, which is something, but the tanks in the main base are going to go down as well. Oh, the mine clears them up, but does lose the tank as well. The armory survives, thankfully, for our Terran player, but that's something that's very, very annoying to deal with. Both shuttles going down, though, is a big, big deal, because if these tanks get onto this high ground, suddenly there's no shuttle. There's only one shuttle that can deal with them, rather than 2 or 3. Now, he can drop in the main base. Oh, no, he's going to fly into the Dragoons. Oh, God. Please get away. You do not want to be flying into those. Yeah, so he's going to get away from here, but does he go back, or does he go back home? It may even be worth just dropping on this natural. Just one tank to stop the Protoss from being able to expand easily. I think fully flying back is a bit of a waste. Yeah, there's also an obs around this area as well. So we can see that there's 4 zealots getting ready to drop off on whatever drops down here. Probe coming out is going to spot them coming in as well. And Kiko is going to have to fly away. But this... Oh my god, the tank dropship. Oh my god, he got so lucky there. That should have died. But the Dragoons just didn't stop and fire. Now, I think Kiko won't mind if Digda takes the mineral only, but unfortunately, Kiko doesn't have his 3rd base yet. And you'll see just how weak his army actually is. And this is a bustable location for Digda right now. If Digda pushes, he can bust and completely wipe out the tank count of Kiko here. There's not actually that many tanks. They've only got +1. They don't have 2-1 already. No upgrades for Protoss either. But still, like, this is definitely a breakable location, I think. Yeah, taking a 3rd on Tau Cross is hard as Terran, but it's only really as hard as it is now because Kiko played after he did so well with the 2-fact a bit funny. Where he kind of went to, like, try and mega contain and failed, he didn't really get his expansion up, so he didn't really get the kind of advantage that he should have had. Like, at this point, he should have his 3rd up. He should have his upgrades going as well. But he kind of got himself set back. Now, +1 is done. The science facility is done. +2 has not yet started. Apparently, I missed the drop. That's what I get for looking away. He didn't actually drop much. He saved most of it. He didn't do any damage, so that's all that matters. I did mention before that I'm quite tired as well, which is why I'm only doing one cast today, and having black on the minimap doesn't help, but they played on melee. So it's either yellow versus yellow, or black on the minimap, which is kind of hard for me to pay attention to. This is why it helps for like BSL, because 0 obses, and then he has people casting for him. Doing everything on your own is quite difficult. I mean, I do it because I enjoy it, but when you've had like a bad week at work, it's yeah, yellow versus yellow is definitely too confusing. Like, look at this. You can't tell anything what's going on. It's great. This is why there's like the top versus bottom rule, that if people don't start, like, luckily enough, we've not had any seriously bad colors. Like, these colors are great. It's just I'm too tired to pay attention properly. But yeah, usually black versus teal is actually really cool, and black on Terran look amazing. But yeah, I'm just, I've had a really long and strugglesome week at work, so it's quite difficult. And I don't think strugglesome is even an English word, so... Black on this tile set's not too bad. For me, it's okay. If I was paying better attention, it'd be fine, I think. I think I'd be having trouble no matter what the colors were. But that's why I decided to only cast 1 series today rather than 2, because I know I'm so tired that I'm not, like, my brain is going to die like it did on Monday, and then I'm just not going to be able to cast properly, and I want to give people, like, I may not be great at casting. I'm glad that you guys watch me, and I don't know if I'm even any good, but I like to feel like I at least put in a lot of effort when I'm awake. Like, that would be Like, I like to think that when I'm putting in effort, I could do a pretty good job. Now, funnily enough, he's got a bunker, but his Marines are in the wrong one, so this bunker is currently not doing anything. But yeah, I like to think I try to put a lot of effort in, and I like to think I put on a good show when I'm, like, awake. But then when I, like, get too tired, I just can't. I just can't do it. I simply can't, you know? It just ends up like that, but... Yeah, we're 20 minutes into the game. Kiko's scanning around everywhere for the army, knows where the army is now, knows where his opponent is likely expanding. Somehow, this zealot got up here. I don't even know how this got past these mines, but I guess the zealot has the floating tag or something. Archon zealot. Oh, he's moving the Marines now. He should kill this bunker. It's just in the way now, but. Observer goes down. We do have Kiko with a decent spread of units. +2 attack is done. +1 attack for the Protoss. Tech-wise, though, we only have the Stargate coming up now. This is a very late Stargate. Oh, sorry, this is second Stargate. Never mind. I was going to say this is a very late Stargate. He's going double Stargate, which means we're likely going to see a fleet beacon coming in after this, I imagine. Because there's no Arbiter Tribunal yet. No, he just built something back. Oh, it is Arbiter, okay. He just got the second Stargate before his Arbiter Tribunal. That's kind of weird. He can't really build anything out of these Stargates until he gets his Arbiter Tribunal up, so... I don't know why you do it in that order, but I guess he's got a reason. 2 dropships were up here. There was a drop up at this third base, but it didn't do anything. At least I think so, anyway. But this is one of those moments where we have those weird... things where I mentioned before where the game started off weird, so like everything is just super delayed compared to where it would be normally. Like Kiko is heading into like a 24-minute max or something where he should have been maxed like 6 minutes ago 7-8 minutes ago or something, you know. When the game starts off weird like this, like it just ends stranger and stranger. Now +2, he should be on 3-2 right now. Like, he should be on 4-5 base. Now, the issue that Kiko is going to have is he's got his third gas. His main gas is going to be mined out at this point. His natural gas is about halfway done. Where does Kiko realistically take a fourth gas? This base is a mineral only. If he pushes to the right, this base is a mineral only. And this base is a Protoss base. He is not taking this. The only gas bases available for Terran to take is the main and the natural. Now, it looks like we do have some units running in and doing nothing, so they're going to die. But Kiko is going to have to push, and he's going to have to win, or at least split the map with this push. Because you see Digda already knows this is going to happen, so he's building a ton of gateways on this side of the map. This means if Kiko pushes forward, he's going to be able to flank, which is very important. A single Protoss army should not be able to kill a fully maxed 3-2 Terran mech army. You're supposed to use more than one. Now Kiko is getting ready to take a fourth base here, but it's a mineral only. He doesn't need minerals, he needs gas. He needs tanks. Now he doesn't actually have that many vultures right now, he's maxed out. But where is his supply? He's got 65 workers. But there are some vultures up here. This is gonna. They were trying to take down the pylon before it finished, but unfortunately not going to be able to. Now, double Arbiter just spawned. Now, he doesn't obviously have energy on them just yet. But we're in a position where Kiko has to push now. Kiko cannot sit max, because the longer he sits... I mean, if he fits, he sits, which is fine. But the longer he sits in one place... Digda is just going to get exponentially stronger. He's going to be able to completely consume the whole map, and his army is going to be too strong for Kiko to ever really truly beat. Now, one thing you can do as Terran is take this base and elevate her into the main, and that is a very strong choice on this map. It's very hard to defend as Protoss as well. Now, a scan does go down. He sees where the Protoss army is, but doesn't know about the Arbiters. Interestingly, there's 3 shuttles with this as well, which is, I mean, this is going to make this so hard for Terran to deal with. Now, if he pushes right now, I would give the advantage to Digda. because he has the better positioning. 3-1 is done for our Terran mech, which makes us a strong army. But it's so hard to push this. There's so many Zealot bombs, there's so much Storm. And there we go, looks like we are going to have the Zealot bombs and Storm coming in. EMP going down on one of the Arbiters. The other Arbiter gets an amazing stasis. You know, if we zoom out a little bit, this is actually an incredible position for our Terran play. But the Mine Drag only getting one of the tanks at the back, but that's a huge mine! 4 tanks going down. And that actually works out at a pretty terrible trade here for Kiko, as he's lost a lot of his tanks here. The supply is almost even. Kiko has a supply lead. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 gateways. 4,000 minerals. That is going to be a Remax Protoss in a very, very short space of time. And with only 2 mining gases, Kiko is not going to be able to replace all of his tanks. And look at that Storm. That's a great Storm there. Another Storm as well. It's so annoying to deal with Storm as Terran. Now, honestly, a D-Matrix would have been better there, I think, than that EMP. But there we go. D-Matrix coming in. He gets it. Double D-Matrix. Do love it. Another load of Storms coming in, though. Digda is completely annihilating Kiko's army here. He's trading... I mean, he's losing all his army. He's trading his army away, so he's losing more supply every time. But it's a numbers game. Kiko, mine out of his main. Mine out of his natural. No 4th base. Gas is barely mining as well. Only 2 gas remaining. Wrong side. And he can't take a 4th. He's trying to expand down here. But where can he get the units to defend this? And also defend his main? He is up against a wall here. And he is spread so thin that all it's going to take is a good push by Digda to end this game, I think. And it's... so CSAC asks, why not EMP the Templars? It's hard to. They're split up. It's very hard to EMP them before they storm. And EMPing the goons can be good, but using D-Matrix can be a slight bit better, because EMP's radius in this game is not actually that big. So you only hit like 3 or 4 goons at a time. Now Storm on the back tank here. Lots of mines going down. Lots of tanks going to be able to hold this as well. Great use of repair on this tank. He's got his 4th base mining, but there's no gas here. Now he can leapfrog and attack this base. He can steal this gas, which would be good. We do have a drop coming in here of vultures, but didn't really do too much. If he can take this gas, we're looking at a longer game. But he is going to be in a rough spot unless he can end the game with a big final push here, I think. He is going to be up against a max army over and over again. He has a load of supply, but it's all kind of dotted around all over the map. He's got a lot of supply that isn't actually doing anything. And he's not got that many tanks. Like, if we count his tanks, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6... 8 tanks to his name. That is not enough to deal with this, even if they're all in the right place. Nice target firing on the High Templar. EMP going down on some of the units. This should be... oh no, it wasn't even an EMP, it was a D-Matrix. If he can hold this bridge, it's pretty good, but he's still so far behind. Another great D-Matrix, though. Digda is losing a lot of units. Kiko somehow holds the bridge with just 4 tanks. But he's mining out. There was a storm drop down here. It killed some SCVs, but it's not the biggest deal because he's not really mining that much anyway. But Kiko can't ever really push, and we're going to have another storm drop coming in. A lot of SCVs just transferred over here, and this could be the nail in the coffin. This is going to be so strong. Storm going to come down. The SCVs have spread, so that did nothing. That was actually a terrible storm drop. The base has stopped mining. Now let's have a look at the mining of Digda. Natural is finally mined out. Main is mined out. We have this 3rd mineral only. Halfway done. 4th base is mining. 5th base is barely mining, but it's up. And a 6th base is coming in as well. It really is a numbers game, and here is the recall that's probably going to be the end of the game. He's going to fly in here. Can he get the recall off? Yes, he can. The recall comes into the main base. D-Matrix on the tank again, but that is going to be all the depots falling. He's got no real way of getting back to defend this. A lot of units going to be trying to run back here, but he's going to lose so much in the process. He's not going to save his science facility, which means there's going to be no more vessels, no more EMP, no more D-Matrix. Now, if he can take this base, maybe he stands a chance. But he is up against the ropes here. And unless Digda severely misunderstands the situation, Digda should have the win. Now, he does manage to save his main. He saves one of his armories, which is decent enough. You just need some Goliaths. But while all of his units come back here, another Protoss army coming in. This is the final mining remaining base, essentially, for Kiko. D-Matrix once again coming in clutch. But there's just too many units here for Digda. There's too much money behind this. The economy is too strong. And I think Kiko is going to have to tap out in any second now. Another vessel going to go down. He cannot replace these. He's got no energy, he's got no life, and he's got no chance of winning this game, I think. It's going to be game over. And it's just a matter of time. GG, Kiko taps out, Digda wins game number 4, and that gives us a 4-0 victory for Wico over pSi. Now let's have a look at the results. I actually just hit everything on Windows, which I didn't even know I could do. I pressed like Control N maybe, and it like took me to the desktop. That's something I've just learned about Windows, which I should have probably known. That's going to make my job easier, actually. So 4-0 victory for Wico over pSi. SCVForce losing to Mutali. Last winning over mitak. 973 winning over Grast. And Digda winning over Kiko. That was a pretty good final game. Kiko, I think, had a very good chance of winning, but he made a few mistakes, which led to a few problems a little bit later down the line. So, a little bit unfortunate, but that's how the way the cookie crumbles. That is going to be it for today's stream. We'll be back on Friday at 2000 CEST, where we'll be watching Ash versus IRK. It's going to be a good matchup. There's a lot of Protoss and Zerg, though. So please be ready for PvZ and PvP, and I'll see you guys then. Have a very good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here, and also there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.